We're seeing progress all around the world. Many countries are making efforts to improve infrastructure, vehicles, people's behavior and trauma care. And we're also gradually seeing efforts towards making walking, cycling and public transport safer, which is going towards a modal shift. But it's too slow. If we are to achieve a 50% reduction in road deaths by 2030, we know what needs to be done. We clearly know what needs to be done. It's a question of doing it and get the political will at the highest levels in order to accelerate progress.
If we're serious about actually achieving Vision Zero and achieving our 50% reduction by 2030, vehicle safety has to be one of the key issues that we consider and prioritise. High-income countries are getting much safer cars and newer innovations and newer technologies, whereas low middle-income countries and also the commercial vehicle sector are sort of getting left behind, and there's a huge divide between what's being offered in those sectors and segments of the world compared to what we're seeing in the high-income countries and also in the passenger vehicles. We need to be able to accelerate the penetration of these technologies that are currently here and available. This is one of the game changers that we've been talking about. We don't have to wait for newer innovations. We have some that are readily available now that can already make a huge difference to the fatalities and serious injuries that we're seeing around the world.
I think a big challenge for the road safety community at present is that we are very insular. And by that I mean we are saying a lot of interesting ideas, but we're talking to each other. And if we really want to talk about integration into the Sustainable Development Agenda, I think it's important that we start to engage with people that are part of that agenda. And that means sometimes stepping outside of the usual road safety community.
What kind of solutions can we see that actually could be used in a broader content? And also things that not only will be possible to use in high-income countries. So it's been a good focus on that, and it's been that. Therefore, we've been talking a lot about how can you integrate road safety with other sustainability issues.
25% of the carbon emissions come from transport, and it's a sector that needs to really get to net zero by 2050. That means we have to reduce 90% of the CO2 emissions as today. How are we going to do that? Well, the most important way to do it is by investing heavily in mass transportation, in walking and in cycling. This is already happening in many countries here in Europe, and in the developing world is something that has happened for many years. Around 80% of people in the developing world walk, cycle, or uses mass transportation. The majority of people that are killed in our roads are pedestrians. So we need to focus on how to give them better quality, better safety, to make sustainable transport more dignified.
The important issue of sports utility vehicles was discussed, the fact that they are now the fastest growing segment of the vehicle population, the fact that they are between 5th and 7th in emissions if they were a country, the damage they do to road safety, to sharing of equitable space, and the strategies that we can use to try to reduce the sales of SUVs, discourage people from buying them, and for the benefits of road safety but also for climate, really try to get a more equitable transport system which is sustainable, which is climate friendly and which is safe.
The World Bank is going to mandate in its procurement of all type of works, goods, services, financed by World Bank projects, is going to mandate the use of rated criteria in the selection process. And why this is important? Because we will be able to include road safety as an aspect, as a rated criteria in the selection or the procurement of contractors who can do civil works or who can do goods or any type of things. So we are moving toward that. Beginning September 1, We are trying to work also now to build the capacity of our borrowers, because this requirement has to be implemented by World Bank borrowers. And our team, the safety team, is trying to make sure to include some of the road safety aspect in this rated criteria.
So I'm coming from the NGO community, and one of the things that we're really focusing on is evidence, and evidence for interventions that really contribute to the 50% reduction. And one of my takeaways here is that there is really such a focus on evidence, using the evidence, also using the evidence in the practical way. What we're doing in the Alliance is focusing on 5 interventions, priority interventions that are evident to contribute to the 50% reductions. And I was really happy to see them repeated in this conference and across all the sessions. So sort of as an ongoing red string that goes through all the sessions. That was a very strong takeaway from me.
We have come to learn the best practices from across the world. We have over 100 countries assembled here, road safety experts, and we have Sweden who is championing this Vision Zero. And I think that it is time for us now to build on what we have already gained. I, coming to represent Africa, together with my colleagues from Ethiopia, from Tanzania, from Uganda, Senegal, it is our expectation that we'll go and make a difference after this conference. We are going to talk to our governments, we are going to talk to all our stakeholders that we belong to a single global world. Whatever we decide here should bind all of us to be able to change the narratives when it comes to road traffic crashes, the injuries and the deaths.